You might be feeling, oh no, not leadership again. What on earth is there new to say about leadership? Well, maybe I'm not saying anything new, but I love to challenge accepted wisdom, and I hope I can just stimulate your thoughts on this. If you were here in the end of January when Neil Farmer spoke, he quoted the billions of dollars which are spent on leadership development, and he questioned the effectiveness. He said only 1 in 6, he believed, had any effectiveness. Well, I myself worked for 15 years at London Business School, specifically designing and directing programs for organizations, as well as directing company programs through my own consultancy. And so what have I learned about that? Well, I have never forgotten the chief executive of a major retail company in the UK, a name that you all know, a FTSE retail firm, asking me to evaluate their leadership program that had been running for 3 years. In obvious frustration, he said to me, "We've spent £1 million on this, and I'm damned if I can see that we have any better managers, leaders than anybody else." Well, I can only cover 2 short things in my very short slot, but the CEO's statement prompts me towards the first one, and it's this. We did evaluate the program, and we found that not that many, but not all, many, without doubt, individual leaders felt they had benefited considerably themselves. They had more self-awareness, they had more self-confidence, and so on. It was a personal development thing, no doubt. And that's a good outcome. That's a good outcome. But secondly, when we looked at what other people were observing, using a kind of 360 approach of stakeholders in each person's learning, we found that nobody had actually noticed very much change had taken place in the workplace. And why would that be? Well, it's true, isn't it? And it very much relates to what Refresh has been telling us. Organizations are systems. They have culture, they have history, they have systems, they have processes. And our people go off and get trained on leadership at a business school or whatever, but then they come back into the system. So, for example, they come back bright-eyed and bushy-tailed into that absorbing system. Maybe they learned all about the behaviors of an empowering manager, good stuff. But then they come back and find that finance or HR or the regulators have managed to squash all possibilities for truly empowering their people. And so retires. So what I concluded from all this is that we need to classify leader development maybe more as an employee benefit than kid ourselves that we're investing in something really important for the organization. And a very nice benefit it is. I tried very hard as a leader myself to make sure I got on a business school program, and I did, and I really enjoyed it. It was great. When I came back, by the way, nobody seemed very interested in what I'd learned, but that's another story. But that is different, isn't it, from developing the leadership of an organization, which can be very powerful. And that means creating a collective change mindset as part of a reset of strategy, or culture, led from the top, so that our leaders go back into an environment which is changing, a system that is changing, where all leaders are trying to reinforce what is going to be new. And that can be amazingly powerful. It's trying to operate differently. So I used to ask clients at LBS, is it leaders or leadership that you wish to develop? Because actually I'll propose different programs. And I'm sorry to say that they often looked at me blankly. What are you talking about? My second observation, if I may make it quickly, is the obsession that HR has, particularly HR, with behavioral development is well out of balance. When Terminal 5 opened, you will remember, I think, it was a model of incompetence. And in the UK, I'm not talking about Germany here, in the UK over the last year, I think we can all quote a few models of incompetence that we've seen. Incompetence in management. I looked up Heathrow's website at the time, and surprise, surprise, they did publish a set of leadership competencies that all their leaders had been through. Fantastic. I'm sure they were great at inspiring their people. The problem was they didn't know how to manage the show. So I think we have lost something that back when I were a lad was what we talked about. We talked about developing managers and helping them to learn things and how to manage. So what has happened to management skills training? If you look in the syllabuses that are available for you to buy, you have to struggle to find them. And we take it for granted, perhaps, that, well, they just come naturally to managers, don't they? Well, actually, they don't. And this is the irony. The irony is that good leaders, and there will always be a shortage of them, always has been and always will be, they don't need training because for them it does come naturally. I rest my case.